Greetings, everyone. This is Jeff Wilkerson, Professor of Physics at Luther College, bringing you the next in our series of what to look for in the night sky. It's the week of January 22nd, 2024 this time around. It's a moon week. We get these, right, where we have a lot of moon interference. So we'll look at the moon a little tiny bit, but it's not actually doing as much interesting things. It's not passing as many interesting things as we often see. And so we don't have a lot of moon work to do there. Venus is settling lower and lower and lower in the morning sky. We've had great fun watching Venus slide past the stars of Leo and Virgo and now into Scorpius, Libra, and into Scorpius now and on out. It's just been great. But as I walked in this morning to work, watching it, we've had some clear skies for the first time in a while. And when I walked into work this morning, the glow, 6:30 my time, right? The glow in the east was starting to get pretty pronounced, and Venus wasn't that far up out of the glow, so we're losing Venus quickly. So we're going to lose that fun of tracking Venus against all kinds of background stars. So we don't have that really to talk about this week. So what we're going to do is we're going to start by focusing our attention on some binary stars, two stars that we see as single stars, but we can actually resolve, at least in two of the three cases, we can resolve into the component stars in our telescopes. And we're going to use them to help us see some constellations we don't always look at, too. And so we're going to start with Jupiter. 6 o'clock at night, 6:15, 6:30 at night, something like that, just getting good and dark. Okay, as we head into spring here, that's one of the most noticeable things. We're still deep into winter, but as we head towards spring, one of the most noticeable things for me is just how bright it's staying, how light it's staying in the evening. And over the weeks ahead, it's just going to keep growing and growing and growing. So that by now, it wasn't very long ago at 5 or 5:30, you could go out and see some pretty good astronomical stuff. It's going to get hard now. So now we're talking about 6 o'clock and maybe even 6:30. But Jupiter is almost straight south. So you go and you look straight south at 6 o'clock-ish or 6:30-ish, depending on where you are in your time zone and whatnot. You'll see the brightest star to the south is Jupiter. And so that's what I've drawn here, Jupiter on the board, right? We've got Jupiter, and with Jupiter on the board here, we can start there and we can work our way around from Jupiter. Let's actually go 11 degrees up. Remember, a fist held out at arm's length is about 10 degrees. So let's go up to the north and the west a little bit. And the first relatively bright star you come across is Hamal. And Hamal is a second magnitude star. So that's a pretty bright star. It'll hold up to the full moon. The moon is pretty much full all week. It's pretty close enough that it's washing stuff out. But we should be able to see second magnitude Hamal, especially since the moon's it's off to the east relative to this region of the sky here. And it'll just starts the week that way, and it just gets more so as the week goes on. So this is a good region of the sky for us to be looking at. Hamal, this is in Aries, and Hamal is a translation from the Arabic. We use Alan's star names, as always, to get this information for you. And if you're interested in it, I recommend the book. And so Hamal is Arabic, comes from the Arabic for the whole constellation Sheep. Okay, so the name of the constellation is Sheep here. So we go up to Hamal, and then we drop down to Sheraton, which is a 2.6 magnitude star, still pretty bright. And so we're going off, let's actually draw that in. As we go across there and we drop down this direction. That's the alpha star in the constellation Aries, the beta star, and the gamma star. And that's our team, is the gamma star, and it's almost down to 4th magnitude. So that's getting a little harder to see, especially with moon brightening out there. Use your binoculars to pull it out, but then get your small telescope and drop down this direction and find it. And it is a beautiful double star with a separation of about 7 arc seconds, as I recall. It's got about this 7 arc second separation, so you'll see both stars in there clearly, beautifully. Really, really, really good binary star system there. Okay? Go the other direction. Drop down to the south and the east and go a little further, 14 degrees, and you get to Menkaure. Menkaure is in Cetus, and so Menkaure here in Cetus is a 2.5 magnitude star, so a little bit fainter than Hamal, and a little bit further south, and maybe make it look a little bit fainter even for those of us as far north as I am. But it's part of this diamond of stars that is in Cetus. And at the base of the diamond back this direction is Kapha Jidma, It is a 3.5 magnitude star, and it is a binary star also. Twice as close, more than twice as close, the separation of the stars of what we saw in Mesartim. A little bit brighter, but you'll see these stars. You should be able with your telescope to pull these apart. You might need a slightly larger telescope, but you should, that's right on the edge of my seeing, is to say, my sky sometimes is turbulent enough that it's hard to see this, but I would still see this as two blobs attached together, so at worst. So we should be able to pull that apart, okay? So that's the star that we have down here. We forgot to mention, back to Alan's star named Menkar, is Arabic, and the nose. And Alan would say this should really be the mouth of the sea monster, not the nose of the sea monster, but maybe that's picking nits, I don't know, to worry about that. So we have Menkar. See if we can find this diamond shape. This is Cetus. Cetus, the sea monster that we have here. Now, if we go this direction, so we went this way to Hamal, we went this way to Menkar and used that to find the diamond shape here that got us to Kafal Jidma, a fine binary star. Now, if we drop this direction from Jupiter, across from Menkar, and maybe a little bit south, we come to Al-Rescha, which translates from the Arabic, according to Alan, as the cord, a 3.8 magnitude star, about like Mesartim. Now, Al-Rescha is a binary star, and it's a binary star with an orbital period of, I should have paid more attention to this, an orbital period of a few hundred years maybe. And what's happened with Al-Rescha is it's now close enough down to about an arc second that I think you'll have a really hard time seeing that as a double star. I think you won't actually see the two stars, but you give it a try. You might be able to if you've got really good skies and you've got a really good instrument. Right, if you've got a big telescope, this is a great test for your skies and your telescope to see if you can tell. You're probably not going to see any space between them, but to see if you can tell that there are two stars there. 50 years ago, 70 years ago, it would have been a much, much easier task. So this is closing up. These stars are closing up, and they're going to stay closed up for the next 50 or 70 years too. So this is going to be a hard binary star, a hard double star to split for pretty much all of my lifetime. And so this is, this is something to try, So there's your binary stars, actual binary stars, not just double stars, not just chance alignment of stars, but stars that are in binary systems orbiting around their center of mass that we can use Jupiter to try to find. And if nothing else, Al-Rescha is the alpha star. Never mind that Tifta is much brighter. Al-Rescha is the brightest star, the alpha star, not the brightest star, the alpha star in Pisces. So we got Pisces here, we've got Cetus here, and we've got Aries up here. So we are seeing three constellations that aren't the brightest of constellations and stars around there that Jupiter's sitting right in the midst of and can help us find. So this is our task for the week, is let's go find Aries, Pisces, and Cetus and look at some fine double stars in that region. Now, before we close out here, as the week progresses, the moon shifts east against the background stars. That's what the moon does. And by the evening of the 23rd, the morning of the 24th, and the evening of the 24th, it's sliding through Gemini south of Castor and Pollux. So the moon's almost completely full at that point. And so you can see it with Castor and Pollux, the bright stars of Gemini. By the 26th, into the morning of the 27th, into the evening of the 27th, it has moved over into Leo. It's still 90% or more full, so it's still a very full, bright moon, and it will be north of Regulus and will actually pass very close to Eta Leonis, which is a 3.8 magnitude star, or something like that, like a lot of these stars we've been looking at, like Mesartim and Al-Rescha. But with the moon that close, it's going to be pretty hard to see that star, and you'll have to work to try to pull that out. But it's sliding. Regulus is bright enough. You'll see Regulus there as the nearly full moon slides by. So that's what we got this week. We got the full moon be waning away by the end of the week, so maybe next week we'll be able to talk about something a little bit more to see in terms of clusters or nebulae or something like that. But we got stars in Pisces, Cetus, and Aries with Jupiter this week. So I hope you have a good observing week. I hope you have a good week overall, everybody. And as always, thanks for watching.